Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. As you may be aware, Jaron Boots Ennis made his debut at Super Welterweight 154 with an obliteration, a one-round obliteration of Usma Lima, who is an Angolan based in Portugal, 32 years of age, a southpaw. Lima came in with 14 wins and 1 defeat, which was on points. He's got 10 KOs in the wins column, but he got caught early and just blown away. With a couple of knockdowns, trapped in a corner, getting beaten up. The ref stepped in. Okay, it happens. He got caught early. He's actually not a bad fighter at all. But he was never, I don't think he was ever going to beat Boots. But what's interesting is he's a well-travelled fighter. His only defeat was to Aaron McKenna, who remains undefeated and is a very good prospect himself. He lost a 10-round decision at the York Hall in Bethnal Green, of all places. But he's fought in Spain, he's fought in Portugal, he's fought in Britain 3 times on the bounce, actually. He won a couple of stoppage wins against more inexperienced fighters in Britain prior to losing to McKenna. He's fought in Germany a couple of times. He's fought, I believe it's Angola, which is his original home country. He's fought in the United States. So he's a have gloves, will travel sort of contender. No one's given him anything. He's earned it all. And I'm afraid in this, against Ennis, he just didn't have it. But it does beg the question, okay, Ennis looks spectacular. How would he get on against the world champions? And when we talk about the world champions, well, I mean, let's go through them one at a time. All right. The WBO champ is Xander Zayas, who's 23 years old. He's from Puerto Rico. And I would describe him as a work in progress. He's an orthodox fighter, 5'10", and he won the vacant WBO title earlier this year, quite recently in July, actually, against Jorge Garcia Perez. He won a unanimous decision. It was wide, dominated pretty much. Prior to that, he beat a fighter called Slower Spooner, who, I've got to be honest, I'm not familiar with. And Spooner came in, Spomer, I think his name is. Again, I'm not familiar with this guy. Slower Spomer. He beat this guy, it was 20-0 coming in, and he got stopped in 9 rounds by Zayas. He beat Damian Sosa, who came in with 25 wins and 2 defeats. He beat him on a 10-round decision. He also beat Patrick Teixeira, former champion, on a 10-round decision. Teixeira passed his best. But so he's nothing wrong with him. He's a good fighter. But does he beat Boots? Can he stand up to Boots? At 23, he's probably, it might be a bit too soon for him, even though he's got a belt. Although, of course, they do say if you win a belt, you've got to be prepared to defend it. So I get that argument. But I think that Boots would definitely beat him. Will Zayas ever be able to get to the point where he's good enough to beat Boots? Yeah, I wouldn't rule him out. He would be a legitimate underdog, should we say. It wouldn't be a bit. But there again, when you see what Boots did to Lima, it's feasible he could do the same to Zayas. But, a little bit early for Zayas, in my opinion. Then we've got the WBA champ, former European champ, actually. And that's a guy by the name of Abbas Barou. Now, I've seen him fight quite a bit. He's based in Germany. I think he was born in Germany, actually. He's obviously of African descent, but I think he's born in Germany. 30 years of age now, orthodox fighter. About 5'9", 5'10", that sort of height. So, reasonable height for the weight. He has fought in Britain several times. He defended his EBU. No, it was a vacant title. That's right, a vacant title against Sam Eggington. And that was last year. That was about 18 months ago. And he beat Eggington on a majority decision over 12. I'm a massive Sam Eggington fan. In my view, it should have been unanimous. I actually picked Eggington to win that fight, a close points decision, because I think Sam was, with home. It was in Telford as well, which is Sam's neck of the woods. But no, I thought Abbas Baru won that EBU title. He then defended it against Macaulay McGowan. That was a unanimous decision over 12, and that was over in Bolton. He has fought in the United States before, beat Hugo Noriega, unanimous 8-round decision. Noriega had 9 wins and a defeat. So he's moved around a bit, fought in Germany. Back in the day, actually, he beat, is it John O'Donnell? John McDonnell? John O'Donnell? That was John O'Donnell, I think his name is. That was a stoppage win back in 2019. So it was a long time ago. So the guy's been sort of floating around. He fought in Dubai as well at one point. I can't remember the name of the opponent, but he fought in Dubai. So he's been kind of treading water for a long, long time, and he's 30 years old now. And he got his opportunity for the WBA belt against Ioannis Tellez, who was undefeated in 10 and was a big Cuban superstar in waiting, supposedly. And surprisingly, for some anyway, Baru not only won a unanimous decision, which was deserved, he scored a knockdown against Tellez and had him all at sea. But it was a case of, I think, even though Tellez, clearly talented, been through the Cuban system, but Baru was just too experienced. And there was an air of all that experience suddenly coming together on the night to defeat, the slick, flash, younger man. Tellez is 25. He can come again, no doubt about it. But Baru kind of the old man him to some degree, I think. Used all that experience, used all those crafty sort of tools that he's picked up along the way, through all that travel, through all those being in the away corner and winning. So he would be a handful, Baru, for Boots. You would think he would be able to give Boots rounds. Does he beat Boots? I don't think so. But he is crafty enough to fiddle his way through rounds. He's an orthodox fighter. To be honest with you, I don't think it bothers Boots whether someone's a southpaw or an orthodox fighter. But I would definitely pick Boots to beat Abbas Baru and win that WBA title. Then we have Sebastian Fundora, who is IBF champ? I'm losing track now. I lose track of all these belts. So WBC champ, anybody? Yeah, that's right. He held the IBF. Anyway, I think he's WBC champ, Fundora. Massively tall dimensions. 6'5", 6'6", whatever he is. Same sort of reach, but fights small frequently. Likes to have a punch up. Had that bloodbath with Tim Tszyu first time round, and came off a bad defeat to Brian Mendoza when he got knocked out. But Fundora definitely showed his mettle, I think, by coming back and defeating previously undefeated Tszyu. It was a bloodbath because Tszyu had an injury to his head, which the fight should have been stopped. There was too much blood flying around. So Fundora, which people overlook, they remember the horrendous cut on Tszyu's forehead or scalp or whatever it was. Fight-stopping injury, in my opinion, but Fundora himself had a busted nose and there was a cut inside his mouth. He was swallowing lots of blood, and he pulled it out against Tszyu. And it was a tremendous coming off that knockout defeat. He showed some real stones, But he then won the rematch with Tszyu very easily, floored him in the first round, and actually made him quit. And Fundora, with those dimensions, with that heart, he's going to be a proposition for anyone, including Boots. The worry I have for Fundora is that he likes to have a punch up. And if you do that against Ennis, who, let's be honest, having moved from 147 to 154, there wasn't an ounce of fat on him. He's straight away, his body, it seems to have settled into 154. So I would pick Ennis to beat Fundora, probably by a knockout. But Fundora, while he's live, he's a threat. While he's still standing up, he's a threat. So definitely, in my opinion, good fight. Always a curious matchup with someone of that height and range. But I think Ennis would probably win the fight. Then we have Bakhram Murtazaliev. Remember him? The guy who splattered, Russian fighter splattered Tim Tszyu in 3 rounds with, was it 4 knockdowns or something? 32 years old, Orthodox fighter from Russia. Has not fought since he smashed up Tim Tszyu, and that was a year ago. Has a late rounds in his 11th round stoppage over Jack Colkay. But he is only, I'll say only, 23 fights is quite a lot these days, 17 KOs, and really the dark horse of the division. Very, very good fighter who everyone seems to overlook. And I don't know, I mean, I just think that, I do think he's a dark horse. I really do. I think of all the champs, he's the one I'm most intrigued to see in there against Ennis, and I think he would probably start as an underdog, but I wouldn't rule him out as a winner against Ennis. I think he's a very shrewd operator, doesn't seem remotely bothered by any sort of travel. I mean, he's fought in the United States many times before. He's fought in Germany. In fact, I think he certainly fought in Russia many times, but unless I'm mistaken, I think he's based in California now. I think, hence the reason he's fought so many times in the US. He's also the IBF super welterweight champ. That's the belt he's got, the IBF belt. So yeah, that is the fight I am most curious about, and that's the fight I want to see with Jaron Ennis. Now a lot of people would disagree with me. A lot of people would say that the most attractive matchup for Ennis doesn't even hold a belt yet. I think he's got an interim belt, WBC interim belt, and that is, of course, Virgil Ortiz Jr. 27 years old, from I think he's from Texas. I know he's from the South. Texas, I think it is. 27 years old, 23 wins with 21 KOs, no draws, no defeats. And his last fight, he won a unanimous decision, deservedly so, over Israel Madrimov, who had given Bud Crawford a very, very good fight. He's also got a majority decision 12-round win over Serhii Boachuk, who only had 1 defeat in 25 at the time. And some of the fights he's had, I mean, he's had 1-round stoppages over people like Frederick Lawson and Thomas Delorme. Not really surprising. Those guys, they do go out pretty early against the elite. Kavalauskas, Egidus Kavalauskas, or whatever it is. Have I pronounced that right? Probably not. He had an 8th-round stoppage over him. That was a good win, but that was back in 2021. And I mean, he beat he beat Sammy Vargas, I think, in 2020. He's beaten Morris Hooker. Whatever happened to Morris Hooker? He was a good fighter, and he sort of faded away in 2021. But I mean, he had 3 fights in 24. He's only had the 1 against Madrimov in 25. But he does have a very important fight coming up, a very important fight in defence of his interim belt. He's gets you a ranking, but it's not really a world title, is it? And that's against Erickson Lubin, who is 27-2. And Lubin can fight. Lubin can definitely fight. Very good fighter. Fought Sebastian Fundora and had him on the floor, but got stopped in 9 rounds. His face was cat's meat. It was smashed up and chewed up and God knows what. But Lubin has beaten Terrell Gausha, who's a very good gatekeeper. Jason Rosario, who stopped him in 6 rounds. He did get chinned in a round by Jamel Charlo in 2017, but 8 years ago. Do you care? Not really. And he stuck around. I like his persistence, and he's got good wins. He's actually got wins over 2 previously undefeated fighters. Adriel Holmes Jr., who was undefeated in 17. Lubin stopped him in the 11th round, and Jesus Ramos Jr., who was undefeated in 20, won a unanimous decision over him. So I like the fact that Lubin sticks around, that he's persistent. He's 30 now, still only 30. And yeah, good fight with Ortiz Jr. I think Ortiz Jr. has to start as the favourite, but this will be a good barometer to see how will Virgil Ortiz Jr. get on against Boots Ennis. Lubin's not as good as Boots, but it's a good little warm-up, if you know what I mean. So that's really I suppose, the contend. Well, there are other contenders, of course, but those are the champions, plus Ortiz, who's an interim champ. And I would pick Boots to beat all of them. So what do you think? Which one would you think gives Boots the most to think about? Let me know, and let me know your reasoning behind it. Thank you for watching this video. It's been quite a long one, but thanks anyway. Please hit the like button. And if you like the video, if you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button. You see, life's like that. We got choices. But if you did like the video, please hit the like button. And also subscribe to the channel and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Boots Ennis, what do you think of him? Comments below. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get you later. Bye for now.